Hey there, friends and fellow gardeners. Are you planning a vacation but don't want to leave your precious garden unattended? In this video, we'll be discussing different ways that you can better prepare the garden for your absence. I'm Andrew Wilkinson. Welcome to my channel. Let's get started. Okay, tip number one. This is the best solution that you can do. If you can find number one, you can almost forget about everything else. Find an experienced gardener to look after your garden. Second best option. Tip number two. If you can't find an experienced gardener to look after your garden, have a friend or relative look after it. If those two aren't on the table, then you're sort of hoping for the best, but there are still things that you can do to give your plants the best chance of making it through the week. And remember, it's not all doom and gloom. Plants want to survive. Unless you're facing extraordinary heat for 5-6 days in a row, you might be in trouble. But other than that, or deep freezes, you're probably going to be okay. But to make sure that your plants thrive while you're gone, let's get into those scenarios and those tips to give you the best odds. Before your departure, give your plants a deep soaking. If you live in a very hot and dry climate, you want to retain that wet soil for as long as you can. And in that case, you can use a mulch. Use straw or grass clippings to prevent evaporation. If you live in a hot, dry climate, I know there's a lot of places in the United States that get very hot in the summer. You may want to consider using a shade cloth to keep that beating sun and the heat off of your plants. If you live in a climate that gets cold, or you're leaving in the fall or in the spring, I highly recommend using a frost cloth or fleece on your sensitive plants. Now, even on your hardy plants, it might still be a good idea to protect those plants from bitter cold. Okay, the next tip involves weeds. Weeds can get out of hand very quickly, especially in a week of non-monitoring. Just before your departure, make sure you go through your garden and pick out any weeds that might be moderate size. If you can see them, and you go through them and pluck them out. Another thing you'll want to remove are suckers, and you can find suckers on tomatoes and cucumbers. They're not a pest. They're a small growth that grows in between the nodes of the plant. If you don't stay on top of suckers, tomatoes, cucumbers, a lot of those types of plants will get out of control. Now you can see behind me to my left is a cucumber plant that's on a central line, and it's growing up. And as vines grow from those nodes, I pluck them out. So before you go on vacation, pluck all of those so you get a nice clean line that'll get you through the week. You also want to wrap up and train your plants to go up that lead wire. That way, I mean, by the time you come back, you may get the end here starting to flop over. That's not a problem. As soon as you get back to your garden, you can retrain it all the way up.
Just a brief interruption. Thanks for watching. If you found this video useful so far, like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps, and I look forward to giving you updates along this whole growing season.
If you don't have anyone who's coming to water your plants, you can try to use self-watering containers or those bulbs. I don't have a lot of experience with those and don't know how long they'll last for you, but it's an option. The best irrigation system you can do is put irrigation on a timer. You can set up hoses and drip emitters that every morning or every other morning, whatever you want, it lets out a certain amount of water, say a gallon per hour, and then you can turn it off. You don't have to think about it, you don't have to worry, and each individual plant will get the moisture that it needs in that time frame. Now here's some more plant maintenance. You're going to want to check for diseases, remove any diseased leaves, check for pests, and make sure that your plants have a solid week of nothing going wrong. If they enter this week alone already with an issue, that issue can manifest and grow very rapidly out of hand. Harvest any produce that may be ripe. Are your tomatoes ready to harvest? Are your lettuce plants very full? You're going to want to cut those back. Prune plants that tend to get out of hand. Clean up the bottoms of the plants. As you can see behind me, make sure that your leaves aren't touching the ground and harboring places for slugs to hide out. This is less likely to happen, but make sure that your soil is well amended. If you fertilize your plants every 15 days, give it some fertilizer before you go. Know your environment. Know the pests that typically affect your area, the birds, snails, slugs, beetles. There are a lot of pests out there. This video isn't really meant to go in all of those, but know your area and do the best that you can to protect your plants from whatever pests that plagues your spot. Okay, let's recap. Here's really 3 things. The 3 most important things that you can do is get an experienced gardener to look after your plants. If that's not available, get a friend or relative to look after them. If those 2 aren't available, really give your plants a deep soaking and then mulch. By following these steps, you can enjoy your vacation knowing that your plants will most likely be okay. Plants want to live. They'll be all right. Enjoy your vacation, enjoy your stay, and thanks for watching.